Alright, how's it going, everybody? I've had a lot of questions about my 1990 Dr650, about what plastics, what all I've done to it, how did I do it, and all of those good things. First off, I'll show you, it's a 1990. And it was actually a buddy of mine. I had a KTM 450 EXC that I used as my adventure enduro bike, and I was working on this bike for him. I put a pumper carburetor, and we had a lot of issues where it was just randomly loose spark. We replaced the pickup, replaced a lot of things on it, and I got it running for a little while. And I was just sitting there thinking one day, I was like, I want this bike, but so I don't like to have more than one bike, honestly. So we came to an agreement on my KTM 450, and the deal worked out with this bike. So it was all stock. It had the stock plastics. You can see the stock original 5.5 gallon tank over there. The stock seats up there. All the plastics are in there. And I started doing research on it and couldn't find anything. Nobody made anything for this bike. Anything. Like literally no tanks, no seats, no plastics, no fenders, no anything. So I started doing some research, looking what the 90 frame to the 92 frame looked like, because I found the 90. I found an Acer with 6.6 gallon tank for a 92. I was like, all right, this should fit. This should work. Nope. Basically, I had to spray Instafoam. It mounts on the rear mounts. If you cut the rear mount angle that's angled up, you cut it down and chop it to where it's flat. That way the tank sits flat there with the two screws. And then I took Instafoam, put it in a plastic bag, squirted it in wet, set it on the frame, and set the tank down on it. And then that's how the tank stays in place. So, got the tank mounted. Then I decided I'm going to go ahead and put my seat on. I was going to order a suede seat cover for a 90 Dr650 from Seat Concepts. Nope, they didn't have it. Had one for a 92. But the 90 seat and the 92 seats are completely different. There's 3 angles to the tank on this one. So, what you see here is a 92 seat pan. Suede foam, or the Suede Seat Concept seat cover and their comfort foam. Awesome. Had it in the mud and just have literally, you'd think it'd be ruined, but no, it's great. It does great. All I had to do was chop the rear fender up a little bit in the front. It's the only original plastic on the bike, other than the front fairing. Original rack from 1990. That thing will hold a ton of weight. My Wolfman tool bag and spare tube and stuff like that. And the rest of the plastics, side cover here, front fender, and the other side cover. Those are from a sub-company of Seat Concept called DSA Concepts. And all I had to do, honestly, was trim a little piece back here for the rack, and same, a little bit less on this side right here, and it fits on the factory plastic bolt hole right there, and it's good. It ain't going anywhere at all. So that rounds out this good stuff all through here. Bars, went with 1 1/8 oversized bars with Pro Taper 1 1/8 adapter risers, 1-inch riser. And I'm not going to tell anybody about the ignition system I set up on this thing, just because I want to keep it hidden. So, factory gauges. It just broke, as this says, 8,000 miles. Factory tack over there. The only thing that doesn't work on here is the turn signal, because it causes the LEDs to flash in a random kick. And everything else is majority stock. Stock throttle tube. You have to basically melt the plastic grip off of it and put your own grips on there. So, but refilled all the fluids, brand new brake fluid, brand new brake pads, front and rear. These rims, actually I found rims off of a 86 or 87 Dr600. Got the rims, I got the barrels, and laced up the factory spokes, factory hub, and everything else. And front and rear. It's running on Hiding Out K60s. I didn't think I'd like the tires. They're freaking awesome. They're freaking awesome as anything. So, and I don't remember what the handguards were. They were an aluminum blue handguard. And a lot of people, well, I know a lot of people have wanted this windscreen other than the black on top. I still have the clear one. This is the factory 1990 Digital front fairing that came on the 1990 DR650s with a 5.5 gallon tank. It was set up almost like a sort of a rally bike. And I've had so many crazy, unbelievable offers on that. I've considered a few, but I don't think so. It's perfect. It's got the factory stickers and all of that stuff. So, and a lot of the reason why I didn't keep the stock plastics and tank is because the tank is mint, the seat is mint, the plastics, other than the muffler side, are literally perfect. And I wanted to keep all of those things just in case I decided to put the bike back to stock. So it's got brand new brakes, new push drives in the rear, bled the rear brake for the front brakes, you know, put bigger pegs on here. The carburetors on the 1990 and 91, there's not a lot of modding to do other than going to a thumper, or a pumper carburetor, sorry. But the 90 91 engines made more horsepower and torque than any of them. People don't like them because they're kickstart only. It can be a pain, I'm sure. But you open up the carbs on these, the actual idle air control circuit does not have a cup over it. It can be adjusted. It's set at 1.5 out stock, which the 96 and ons are like a half a turn out. Comes with a 152 main. I don't exactly remember the pilot size, the correct needle. It already has the hole drilled into the slide from the factory, so it jumps up real quickly. The metering on it's good. We cut the top of the box. The top of the air box has been cut all out, so it's all the way exposed. And I've had it up to water up to the side covers down in Florida about 2 weeks ago, and it didn't do anything. Only reason why it died is because of me. Other than that, but it's got a factory oil cooler on it still up there, and everything on this bike is LED lights, LED headlight, LED turn signals, LED brake light. Now the muffler. Everybody talks about putting the Gixxer muffler on and all this other stuff, and I hated the way it looked. It looked like a bazooka on these bikes. It's not cool at all. So I ground the flange up in there. It has that weld. I ground that down. Didn't have to modify the stock exhaust anywhere at all. This is an RMZ 450 muffler from, I think, a 2004, 2005. Spark arrestor, everything in it, repackable. And literally, I cut that pipe, I cut the back side of it, expanded it about 1/4 inch to the right, just turned it to the right, stuck a piece of steel in there, welded it back up, and it's on their factory, and it sounds cool. This bike has the original toolkit, so you see that there. Suspension wise, suspension, stock rear shock, and I did a lot of research. If you look down in there, there's a red spring. I'm gonna make a red spring for this bike. I did some research, compared what the stock rear spring was, the diameter, the coils, the height, and everything on this, and I came up with I needed a 450-pound coilover spring. And I went on Amazon and found an Eibach 450-pound, 2.5-inch spring. Bikes are stock 2 inches in diameter, inside diameter. So, you see on the bottom there, there's a metal plate, that's the adapter bushing for top and bottom to get the 2.5 spring on the 2-inch diameter shock. And honestly, I took this thing when I was in Florida. I rode it in sand, mud, concrete, asphalt, and everything. And couple that with the seat, with the progressive front springs that are, I think they're preloaded 2 1/8 inches down. New seals everywhere. It rides better than I've had KTM 450 XCs, I've had XT 225s, I've had a lot of street bikes and a lot of stuff like that. This bike soaks up everything. Whoops, everything. I mean, I never thought a 1990 bike would be this comfortable and this good, and the motor is absolutely strong. I built this bike in about 2 months, and the only delays were, well, for one, I had to replace the CDI. That was the spark issue. But that was after I went ahead and bought a new stator, new coil, another new pickup, put all of those in and still had no fire, put all the original stuff back on the bike, had a new CDI made through regulatorrectifier.com, built me a one-off CDI for this bike. They don't have them in stock. Yamaha doesn't keep them, anything. Plugged it in, bam, first kick, well, second kick. After you prime it, kick it once, and second kick every time. And it's always been that way now. You know, this bike hasn't been started in 2 days, so let's see what it does. But as you can see, 2 kicks. No noises, no craziness. Headlight. Choked right now for a little bit. That's about it for the bike. I mean, everything else, the bash pan, all the mechanics underneath everything is all factory original. So, there you are, guys. Suzuki ADV Rider, out.